Back in August, Roblox Doors released one of their biggest updates yet. It gave us a brand new subfloor called the Outdoors, which gave us an environment unlike anything we've seen in the game, as well as a bunch of amazing new entities. Except for you, we all hate you. But on top of that, it also gave us a new feature called item skins, allowing us to customize most of the items in the game as we see fit. This was a great addition to the game, as it gave players a reason to spend their knobs and encouraged them to come back each day to see what's in the shop. There were loads of different skins in the game, with many of them having slight recolored variants known as chromas that you can buy with Stardust. And with such a wide variety of skins, some are going to look better than others. Now, as soon as item skins got added into the game, I knew I wanted to rank them all, but I wasn't too sure how to go about it. Initially, I wanted to go through and rank each skin and chroma individually, but I quickly found that it would be way too long and boring. For context, if you count the chromas, I currently have about 300 different skins, with most of them just being slight recolors of the original item. I mean, do you really want to hear me explain why the basic cyan strap light is better than the basic jade bulk light? And with new skins getting added every week or so, a massive ranking video would get outdated long before I could even upload it. So after a bit of thinking, I decided that the best way to rank the skins is to look at an item's overall skin, as well as picking my favorite skin for each item. So here's how the ranking is going to go. We're going to once again rank the items in the game, but this time, instead of ranking the item's usefulness, it'll be ranked by which items have the better skins overall. And as we go through each item, I'm going to choose my personal favorite skin for that item. And then I will choose my favorite chroma for that skin if there are any. This means we're going to be glossing over a lot of the basic skins in the game while going over the ones that I like the most. I'm so sorry, basic pink low chroma lighter fans. One day you will have your time to shine. Anyway, let's quickly go over the rules for this ranking. An item's placement in the overall ranking will be determined by the amount of skins it has, as well as the quality of those skins. If an item doesn't have a lot of skins to choose from, then it probably won't be placed too high in the ranking. But conversely, items that have nothing but basic color changes aren't going to do too well either. If an item has a few strong skins, it'll still do well on the list. Oh, and speaking of which, there is still a lot of items in the game that don't have any skins at all, and obviously those items aren't going to be in the ranking. So for all of these items you see on screen right now, I'm sorry, but you will now be executed. That leaves us with 19 different items for us to go through at the time of this recording. Oh, and by the way, this script was made in early October, so it could get outdated pretty quickly. Even now, Doors is still adding new skins constantly, so if I don't mention one, it probably means it wasn't released as I was making the video. Lastly, this list is entirely my opinion, so if you disagree with anything here, feel free to let me know what you think down in the comments. Afterwards, you should consider getting yourself some better opinions. But with all that out of the way, let's begin. Alright, so our first few items are going to be the ones that unfortunately only have one skin to choose from. Variety isn't everything, but I really hope these items do get more skins in the future. Starting off with number 19, the Moonlight Candle. This item only has the 3rd anniversary cupcake, which does look kind of cool, but there isn't too much to really say about it. It's a cupcake themed around guiding light, using crescent moons and sprinkles to represent them. Although for a favorite skin, I think I actually prefer the default one. The blue candle honestly looks really relaxing, and I don't get the same vibe from the cupcake skin. Number 18, the Lantern. This item recently got its very first skin, and it's actually given to all players who have completed the outdoor subfloor. The skin in question is the Bramble skin, which makes the lantern look and sound like Bramble. This is a pretty clever reference, since Bramble obviously has a lantern on its head. Also, there aren't a lot of skins in the game that have their own unique sound effects, so the Bramble skin does have that going for it. But even so, there's sadly still only one skin for this item. Number 17, the Candle. The regular candle got a pretty similar treatment to the Moonlight Candle, with its only skin being the 3rd anniversary cupcake. But unlike the Moonlight version, this one actually has a couple chroma variants to choose from, so it gets a few more points for that. This one also has regular sprinkles, which I think makes it look a lot nicer compared to the jarring crescent sprinkles on the Moonlight Candle. I definitely prefer this cupcake skin over the default one. And as for a favorite chroma, I would have to go with the strawberry version. The pink color looks good on the cupcake, and it makes it look very tasty. Number 16, the Shake Light. Unfortunately, it seems that the only skins the Shake Light got are a couple of different colors. You do get a lot of colors to choose from, and also the beam color actually changes instantly depending on which color you choose. For all the other light sources in the game, you would need to buy a chroma to change the beam color, but you don't need to do that for the Shake Light, which is nice. But sadly, the Shake Light doesn't really get any sort of variety besides the color changes, so there's nothing really to make it stand out. Honestly, when it comes to a favorite skin, I think I'm gonna have to choose which beam color I prefer. I wouldn't normally do this, but the Shake Light doesn't really have many other options. And since you only get the Shake Light in the rooms, which is pretty dark to begin with, I think the color of the light that you choose is going to be pretty important. For me, I always prefer the white lights since they're typically the most clear and reliable sources of light. The transparent Shake Light skin has a white beam, so I think I'm going to have to go with that skin. The Shake Light is always transparent by default, so might as well double down on it. It's also the most unique skin compared to the basic color, so I think it's a good choice. Number 15, the Strap Light. This item unfortunately suffers the same thing the Shake Light does. It doesn't have any unique skins aside from the basic color, but the Strap Light does at least have some camo skins with their own unique chromas, which gives it a slight edge over the Shake Light in the ranking. Now, since you wear the Strap Light on your chest, my favorite skin is gonna have to be the one that fits with my own outfit. And since I'm a purple man, I would have to go with either the purple or magenta colors. I think magenta looks closest to my shade of purple, so we're gonna have to go with that. And of course, I'm gonna want the chroma variant to make the beam color purple as well. Number 14, the alarm clock. It might be pretty controversial to rank this one so low, but in my opinion, this item doesn't have too many skins, and I'm not a huge fan of the skins we do have. I typically use the alarm clock to tell the time until Dread spawns, and with the skins we have, I find it slightly more difficult to do so. The Dread clock is pretty funny and ironic, but the clock hands are a lot smaller than they normally are. Same thing for the overgrown skin. I feel like the shattered parts make it a bit distracting to see the clock itself. Overall, when it comes to my favorite skin, I think I actually prefer the clean and slick design of the original, but the Dread clock is a close second. Like I said, it's pretty funny. Number 13, the vitamins. This is another item that doesn't have too many skins outside of the basic colors, which is kind of a shame because I feel like you could do a lot with the vitamins. That said, the different colors do look very nice on the item. The vitamins also have a makeshift skin since they were in that bundle, but I'm honestly not a huge fan of that skin. I think my favorite skin for the vitamins would probably be the color camo, with the chroma just being the default one for that skin. That color just looks nice for a medicine bottle. Number 12, the shears. Once again, most of the skins are just basic recolors, but it is carried by one decently good skin. This item has a skin that turns the shears into a comically large pair of scissors. This looks really good on the shears and is easily my favorite skin for this item. There's also a lot of different chromas to choose from, with one of them being a split chroma with multiple different colors. But personally, my favorite chroma would probably be the red one. Probably because I typically associate scissors with that red color. Number 11, the glow sticks. There aren't too many skins for this item, but the ones that we do have are pretty good. There's the voxel skin that gives the glow sticks a more blocky and pixelated look. But my favorite glow stick skin is definitely the ones where they're shaped like gloom bats. It's just really fun to throw around these glowing gloom bats and watch the real ones attack the imposters. Hopefully they do add more skins for the glow sticks because there's a lot of potential here. Anyway, in case you haven't noticed yet, we're officially halfway through the ranking. So if you're enjoying the video so far, it would be great if you could give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more Doors videos in the future. It only takes a few seconds to do so, and if you change your mind later, you can always unsubscribe. Oh, and in case you didn't know, I've recently teamed up with Dashery to create a merch store. There's a lot of cool stuff you can get, and doing so would support the channel a lot. So if you want to buy anything, the link is in the description. Anyway, let's go ahead and begin the top 10. Number 10, the bulk light. On top of the many different colors to choose from, the bulk light also has a couple unique skins. It recently got a makeshift skin, which interestingly enough was not in the original makeshift bundle. But there's also a giggle bulk light, where the entire item is just a giant giggle, the beam makes the entity smile, and activating the light recreates the entity's laugh. This already makes it my favorite skin, but on top of that, the chromas give the giggles these comically large sunglasses. The same ones that they can get from the dripped out modifier. You can choose from multiple different colors. The purple one looks great as always, but my favorite chroma is probably the blue one. I think the deep blue color just matches the shades the most. Number 9, the skeleton key. This is another item that doesn't have too many skins, but the skins it does have are pretty great. Firstly, we have the Bob skin, which is a clever reference to the skeleton in Jeff's shop. We also have the voxel skin, which makes the skeleton key look like it's from Minecraft, with a couple different chromas to choose from. For my favorite skin, I'm gonna have to choose the Bob skin. Bob is a pretty iconic character in Doors, and even though the reference is a bit of a no-brainer, it's still pretty clever. As for my preferred chroma, it's a pretty close battle, but I think the hard hat chroma is just barely gonna beat out the original version. Number 8, the lockpicks. And now we have a couple of items that don't have too many good skins, but are carried by one or two really good ones. For the lockpicks, on top of the different colors, we also have the paperclip skin. This is a pretty fitting choice for a lockpick since in real life, you can pick some basic locks with paperclips. But what carries the lockpicks so high up on the list is the voxel skin. This one makes your lockpicks look like they came straight out of Minecraft, and I think they did a great job recreating that style. This is definitely my favorite skin for the lockpicks. On top of the normal stone skin, there are also chromas for gold and diamond. And of course, for my favorite chroma, I'm definitely gonna have to go with the diamond one since that color is just so iconic. Number 7, the lighter. At a glance, there isn't too much to say about the lighter skin. Pretty much all the skins are just recolors, and much like the other light sources, you can purchase a chroma to change the light itself to said color, but that's about it. But then we get to this item's same saving grace, the D-Orb skin. This skin absolutely carries the lighter to be this high up on the list. If it wasn't for the D-Orb skin, the lighter would probably be below the Shake Light in the ranking. This skin is a reference to the R-Orb gear that allowed you to fly around freely and shoot energy spheres at other players. And it just so happens that this gear was one of my absolute favorites when I was a kid playing on classic Roblox. So to see this make a return indoors of all games is pretty surreal. This skin also has the same sound effect as the R-Orb, and you also just hold the energy sphere in your hand as a light source, which just goes so hard. It really reminds me of the Necrobloxicon from Pressure, and that's one of the coolest items in that game. Overall, the D-Orb is one of my most favorite skins in the game, and it carries the lighter this high up on the list. But since it is the only remarkable skin for the lighter, I can't place it much higher than this. Number 6, the Smoothie. We've actually been getting a lot of skins for the Smoothie lately, and they're great. Firstly, we have the Overgrown skin, which has several different chromas to choose from. This skin does look nice, but I'm gonna be honest, it's also kind of gross. Like, am I just eating dirt from a pot? I know that's supposed to be the point of the skin, but I feel like I'm not gonna use it too often just because of that imagery. And then there's the Happy Sip skin, which turns the Smoothie into a coffee mug with a smiley face on it. This is obviously a reference to the basic noobs in classic Roblox. This is a great skin, but I feel like they could have done more with it by giving it some chromas. There were absolutely no chromas for the Happy Sip, which holds it back quite a bit. Even a few color changes would be great, even if it does take away from the original reference. I mean, Elsplash, if you need any more ideas, you can contact me at any time. There's also a Party Cup skin with multiple colored chromas, which is pretty cool as well. But last and certainly not least for this item, we have the Big Gulp skin. This skin was added pretty recently, and it's meant to look like one of those huge slushies that you get from 7-Eleven. Although I will say that it's pretty disappointing that there's no unique sound effects for this skin. I think one of those obnoxious slurping sound effects would have been hilarious. That's not enough to hold it back too much though. This skin is still very well made, so I'm definitely gonna have to go with the Big Gulp for my favorite skin. As for the chroma, my favorite slushy flavor was always the blue one, even though it was always broken. So I'm gonna have to choose the blue raspberry chroma. The root beer chroma gets a close second place though, since that reminds me of the Coca-Cola flavored slushy, which is an underrated flavor in my opinion. Seriously, a Coke slushie sounds disgusting on paper, but it tastes great when you try it. Number 5, the Bandage Pack. This is an item that has very recently started getting skins, and it's had a pretty strong start considering it's already this high up on the list. First and foremost, we got the French fries skin, which literally turns your bandages into a pack of fries from a fast food restaurant. This skin is hilarious, and I love being able to just eat French fries to heal. The fact that these skins also change the bandages themselves as well as the packs are held in is a big reason this item is so high up. Secondly, we have the Crayon Pack, which turns your bandages into a bunch of crayons, and you presumably eat them to heal. This one's also very creative, and there's a bunch of chromas that turn your crayons into different colors. My only critique is that I would have liked a chroma that shows multiple different colors for the crayons, since these packs tend to have a wide range of colors to use. I mean, have you ever been to a store and seen a pack of only yellow crayons? Regardless, this is still a great skin, but I think between the two, I think the French fries just barely take the win for my favorite. But if you're curious about which crayon chroma is my favorite, take a wild guess. Number 4, the Green Soda. For being such a niched item that you rarely find in your playthroughs, there's a lot of different skins for it. On top of the retro and voxel skins, there's also a Bloxy Cola skin, which is a reference to the original Roblox gear of the same name. There's also a chroma for the Witch's Brew, which is the cherry on top of the skin. Lastly, there's the Loca Cola skin, which turns your green drink into a soda can with unique sound effects. This skin has a bunch of different chromas to choose from, with references to other sodas and memes. This skin and the chromas also reference Ragdoll Universe, which is another game that Owlsplash made. The Yee Yee Juice chroma in particular has its own sound effect, and it's hilarious. This one is definitely my favorite skin and chroma for this item. The item still sucks though. It turns your screen ugly and takes away my purple color. Number 3, the Flashlight. Being such a common and useful item, it makes sense that it would get a bunch of different skins. In fact, there's so many that it would take a while to go through them all. Some highlights are the Gear Light, the Voxel Light, the Retro Light, and the Makeshift Light. The Power Up and Overgrown flashlights are especially cool because they have unique inspect animations as well as unique beam patterns. The Overgrown Light also has a good amount of chromas to choose from, but my favorite skins for the flashlight are definitely the Figure and Draco Bloxer skins. These have beam patterns of their faces, as well as playing the sound effects representing each entity. I went pretty back and forth about which one I prefer, but in the end, I think the Draco Bloxer skin has to be the winner. It looks the most unique. You literally just hold out a mini Draco and you use it as a light, which is hilarious. This skin also has a few chromas to choose from, but my favorite definitely has to be the default red version. Number 2, the Golden Blaster. Now that battle mode is officially officially a main aspect of Doors, the exclusive items for that mode are starting to get their own skins. The Golden Blaster was a pretty obvious first choice. A gun being in Roblox Doors easily makes it the most iconic item for this mode. There's already quite a few skins for this item, and all of them are amazing. We have a tactical pistol, a power-up blaster, a holy handgun, and a flame blaster that shoots flaming bullets. Each item has their own muzzle flash, colors, sound effects, and inspect animation. The holy handgun definitely has the funniest sound effects, and they remind me of the holy hand grenade from Super Hard Mode. Also, the inspect animations for the power-up and flame blasters go so hard. The flame blaster inspect shows the 1000-degree bullets that you're shooting at people. And for the power-up blaster, you literally split the item in half. You do this with all the other items in the power-up bundle, but I think it especially goes hard for the gun. It was honestly really hard to pick a favorite skin for this one, since all of them are really good. But personally, I think I'm gonna choose the tactical skin. It doesn't quite have the pizzazz of the other skins, but this one does have the unique property of having a completely different holding animation. For all the other skins, you just hold the blaster in your right hand. But for the tactical skin, you hold the gun in both hands and you aim closer to the middle of your body. I don't know why, but when you hold the gun with this, I find it much easier to aim the gun itself. I feel like when you're just holding it in your right hand, it's a bit more difficult to precisely shoot the gun. So yeah, I just have an easier time using this skin. And even though it's not as flashy as some of the other skins, it does still have unique sound effects that make it feel pretty satisfying to use. Honestly, I'm pretty indifferent about the chromas. All of them are pretty much equal, but I guess my favorite can be the forest camo. And finally, number 1, the crucifix. Yes, that is now 2 separate item rankings where the crucifix takes first place. But for this ranking, you really can't blame me, because the devs just completely shower this item with skins. I guess that does make sense considering it's the most iconic item in the game, and it's your only actual weapon to fend off the entities themselves. Anyway, where do I even begin with this item? Pretty much every bundle we've seen so far includes the crucifix, and that's on top of the several individual skins we've gotten as well. And on top of that, the crucifix skins can also change their crucifixion color when they do banish entities. This adds even more customizability to this item in particular. To go over some of the skins themselves, we of course have the activated crucifix. This doesn't change the item itself that much, but there is a wide range of chromas to change the color of the item. This one's probably the main way to change your crucifixion color to your liking. There's even some crucifix skins that look like actual weapons, being the Banhammer and Moonlight Dagger skin. And speaking of the Moonlight Dagger, both of the top 2 winners for the skin contest were for crucifix skins, and the Moonlight Dagger got second place. The first place winner being the Sorry, that skin still scares me. The first place winner being the job application crucifix. This one in particular is hilarious. It has a bunch of writing on it, and the animations for it are amazing. Just the thought of sending the Doors entities to employment is one of the funniest things ever. The job application skin is great, but the Moonlight Dagger is pretty underrated in my opinion. This one makes the crucifix feel like an actual weapon for the player to use, and it fits surprisingly well in the Doors universe. Even to this day, we're still getting new skins for the crucifix. There's a skin that's just in the shape of an L if you wanted to be really toxic to the entities, and one of the more recent memorable skins is the Chicken Nugget Crucifix, where the entire thing is just a chicken nugget and you dip it in ketchup. This one goes pretty well with the French fries bandage pack. Overall, there were so many good skins for the Crucifix, and it was really difficult to pick a definitive favorite. There's just so many good answers to choose from, and my opinion is probably going to change a lot. The job application is hilarious, and it's definitely in the running, but I feel like this one is a bit too unrealistic as a weapon to fight off the entities. Maybe this is a controversial take, but I think for now, my favorite skin is probably the Banhammer. To me, this skin has a perfect balance between comedy and combat. Using the Banhammer on an entity actually makes a lot of sense, considering you're basically banning them out of existence. This is especially true if you use it on a smaller entity like Eyes, who never shows up for the rest of the run. And of course, this skin is a great reference to classic Roblox. The Banhammer skin also has a foam chroma, and this actually looks very ugly. Don't use it. My favorite chroma for this is definitely going to be the default one. Anyway, I wouldn't be too surprised if people disagree with my favorite, considering there are so many good choices here, but I think everybody can agree that in terms of skin quality and variety, the Crucifix has the best skins in Roblox Doors. But anyway, that was my ranking for the best item skins in Roblox Doors. I know it was formatted a little differently from my normal rankings, but like I said, there were hundreds of different skins to choose from, and it would take forever to rank each one individually. This video is probably still going to get outdated, considering they're adding new skins to the game constantly, but I hope you still enjoyed the video regardless. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next video.